Hey guys, it's Christy. How are you? Hi, what's happening? It's Friday. Nice to see you. Beautiful day. So glad to see you. So glad that you've been tuning in. I just wanted to see how you're feeling today, what's happening. Got a couple topics for you today that maybe we could talk about and think about. Let's start with negative emotions, okay? Hold on one sec. There's something on my screen here. I'm trying to get. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so I want to start with negative emotions today, just so that we can talk about what they are, okay, and what they mean, and let's see if any of you can relate to some of these feelings that maybe you've been feeling lately, maybe you're struggling with, so that we can work through them together, okay? So with that, our first negative emotions. Let's start with fear. Okay, that's something that I think all of us deal with at least one time or another. Okay, fear is a message in your nervous system telling you that you need to prepare for something. Okay, in other words, there's an expectation of some sort of pain that may be coming your way. Okay, so that's why you're afraid. So your best bet is to face the fear head on. You know, it is something that if you feel afraid of something, of course you should acknowledge the feeling and be aware, but don't let it hold you back, okay? So seriously, if you're afraid, it's not getting you anywhere. Just look at it and say, thank you, but I'm gonna be okay here, okay? Hey, Dan. Okay, our next negative emotion is hurt, okay? Hurt is when an expectation that you had wasn't met, okay? Maybe you had your hopes up about something and it didn't go your way, okay? But again, I'm sorry that it didn't, but we can get past that, okay? What you do to get past it is you focus on what you want to happen now, all right? So that didn't happen. What can happen now? What can I do now to change the situation and make it, better or in my favor? Our next negative emotion is anger. Why do people feel angry? Number one, most importantly, they feel angry because one of their personal values inside was violated. Something that you hold yourself accountable for. Something, all of us have rules that we make for ourselves, okay? Like, I won't do this, I won't do that, I won't do that. And we take this stuff very personal and very serious. So when we do that, when we break a rule that we hold ourselves accountable for or to, then of course we're going to feel hurt. So, again, don't beat yourself up over something like that. It's easy to get past once you realize that, okay, it didn't go my way, but let's try something else. Let's try a new plan. How about anger? Why do people feel angry? Did we just talk about anger? I'm sorry. Frustration. Why are you frustrated? Well, here's why. I'm looking at I have a whiteboard in back of you guys. That's why I keep looking over this way. I have a lot of stuff. Usually I have papers here, but I thought it'd be easier to use a whiteboard today. So if you keep seeing me look over, that's why. Frustration. Why are we frustrated? Here's why. What you've been doing isn't working, okay? Why isn't it working? Who knows? But you know what you need to do? You need to change something. If it's not working, whatever you're doing, that's why you're frustrated. Whether it's a situation with your kids or your spouse or something at work, you're frustrated because what you've been doing isn't working. So change your approach. Switch it around. Try a new way of talking to your wife or your husband. Take your kids out for lunch and talk to them in the car, maybe, if you can't seem to have some sort of relationship with them and you want one. There's different ways to go about things, but it's always good to change. If you're frustrated, it's something inside your body or your nervous system telling you something needs to change. Something isn't working. I'm frustrated. Change it. Okay, disappointment, another negative emotion that most of us feel. Why are we disappointed? Again, we had our hopes up about something. It's very connected. Disappointment and hurt are pretty much best friends, okay? They know each other pretty well. How do you get over disappointment? Well, you focus on what you want today, now. I was disappointed, things didn't go my way. Well, what can I do today to feel better? Guilt. Are you feeling guilty? I gotta be honest, guys. Guilt, to me, oh man, it's one of the worst feelings anybody can have, I think. I really feel like that because guilt's something that you just carry around like a bag. You just keep carrying it around every day like a backpack full of junk. And the sooner that you address it, the better, right? Because whatever you're feeling guilty about, guilt is a lot of times connected to fear. Hey, John. Guilt is connected to fear because you're afraid that if I, if I open this bag of guilt and I actually look at it, maybe I owe someone an apology, or maybe I need to come to terms with what I did and just, forgive myself for something. That's a big thing. Guilt, you violated one of your own standards. Okay, again, that's big. How do you get past it? You promise, you make yourself a vow, I will never do that again. I feel guilty that I stole money from my grandma. I'm not saying I did, but let's just say I feel guilty about that. That's not who I am. And I'm an honest person. I hold myself to that high standard of being an honest person. I stole the money when I was 15, and now I feel guilty. And now it's time to promise yourself. This is how you get past the guilt, guys. Promise you will never do that again. Make a vow to yourself. Then you can put the guilt down and let it go. Because that's not doing you any good. You keep bringing it around every day, every week, every month, every year. It's just coming. It just keeps, it's on your back. Let it go, okay? Just make a vow to yourself. I promise I will never do that. And start today. I promise I will never do that again to anyone or to myself. Feeling alone. Here's another negative emotion. Well, here's how you fix it. If you're feeling alone, it's your body, your heart, your soul, everything, your mind's way of telling you that you need to get out and connect with people. You need to get outside. Get out of your comfort zone. Okay? If you're sitting in front of the TV all day, then yeah, you're going to feel alone. And it's time to get out and connect with people. All right? Back to contributing if you can. Just getting out and saying hello to people. Just make a point today to, I know that may be hard for some people. I know, honestly, it's not easy for me, guys. I'm a very friendly person, but I gotta be honest. I live in a very unfriendly area in North Jersey. People around here don't just go around saying hi to everybody. It's not Texas, okay? They're not high-fiving and waving and all that. No, they're actually in their own world. So it's a little hard for me to even put myself out to say hi to strangers. I gotta be honest, but I try to do it at least maybe once or twice a day. I try to just, if I make eye contact with someone, if I'm at the supermarket or whatever it is I'm doing, I try really hard to say hello. And it's not easy because I'm a nice person, but again, I guess I'm a little nervous about what response I'm gonna get. Are these people gonna think I'm a nut because I'm saying hi and they don't know me? But anyway, feeling alone, your best bet is get out there and connect with people. I want you guys to do a little experiment with me, okay? I want you to look around the room that you're sitting in, whatever room you're in, okay? And focus on or look at everything in the room that's brown. All right, take a minute to do that. Just look around, okay? All right. Now, close your eyes and tell me how many things in the room are blue. I know, that's good, right? You probably don't know. Well, why are we doing this experiment? Well, because we're going back to focus again, because that's my favorite subject, focus. We are what we focus on. If all you're focusing on is one thing, if it's just all the brown things in the room, then you're going to miss all the blue, white, red, all that other stuff. That's just how our mind works, okay? So we have to retrain our mind on what to focus on. If you're waking up every morning focusing on the news, that you hate the president, that you wish you had more money in the bank, that your kids aren't listening to you and they're disrespectful, whatever, if that's all you're focusing on, then you're just going to get it all back and then some. So change your focus. Decide to focus on what's beautiful and important in your life, okay, what matters, and stop focusing on all the other stuff that doesn't, and the stuff you can't control, of course. Another question for you guys. Who are you taking advice or criticism from? Okay, who are you taking advice from in your life? Who are you going to for help, or even better, who's just suggesting to you that maybe you should do things different in your life? That's a good question. I'm asking you this because a lot of times that's how that's influence, our influencers, right? We talked about this in the past. The 5 people that we keep closest to us are influencing us the most. So if you're taking advice or life advice or criticism from people in your world or your 5 people circle, if those 5 are giving you negative advice or putting you down, or maybe they're trying to live through you because they missed their opportunity when they were younger and now they're trying to go through you. Whatever it is they're doing, be careful who you're taking advice from. And also think about for a second, when you're hearing advice from these people, do yourself a favor, picture yourself in their body. I know it sounds weird, but think for a second. If I had an opportunity to switch my life with you, this person's, would I? Well, if the answer is no, then you should not be taking advice from that person. All right, seriously. Think about who you're getting and taking advice from. One more big subject I want to talk about with you guys is the word boundaries. Great topic. I mean, seriously, I could talk to you guys for days and weeks about this topic, but we're going to keep it short. Boundaries. Boundaries, here's what boundaries are. Here's what they're for. Here's what they do, okay? Healthy boundaries can help someone define themselves as a person rather than a group or a partnership. Also, they can help someone decide what they will and won't hold themselves responsible for. Interesting. Well, let's break that down for a second. A lot of people are confused about where the boundaries are in their world, all right? Whether it's with their spouse or their mother and father-in-law or with their own mom or dad. All right, sometimes I've seen this happen. I've seen it with a lot of people close to me. I've seen it with other people that are, in my life circle. Sometimes it gets a little confusing, okay, where the boundaries are. In other words, here's a metaphor. If I spend all day watering not yours. If I spend all day watering my son's lawn, okay, let's just picture he has a front lawn out front of his house, and I'm watering his lawn all day long. My lawn's gonna look like crap, right? Because all I do is water his. So you gotta be careful, not be careful, but be aware, I should say, of how much water you're giving other people's lawn, and maybe you're not giving yourself enough water, okay? Because we're responsible for our own lawn, right? Boundaries define us, and what a boundary is what is me and what is not me. Hey, Teresa. And also a boundary shows where you end and where someone else begins. It's a sense of ownership. And a lot of times when we get into a marriage or we get into a family situation, it does get a little tricky, and I don't know if I've told you this before. I think I may have, but I define myself as a very independent person. I'm an independent thinker. I'm not a needy person. I never have been. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's how you are, it's totally fine. But me going into relationships, my whole life was always a little scary because I didn't want to give up my independence, okay? And I'm a big believer in boundaries. I know where my boundaries are, and I try not to, cross over anyone else's if it's not comfortable. So I married someone who was also very independent. We're both very independent people. We love our free time. I love you, Teresa. I can talk to you about that, girl. I know, I hear you. You're terrible at crossing boundaries. Okay, well, I'm going to help you. It's just important. Well, the thing is, everybody's boundaries are different, okay? But back to me again for just a second. I was very nervous when I got into a relationship with anyone because I didn't want to give up my independence. I was lucky to marry someone who had the same idea, right? He feels the same way about his independence. So I love being alone. Love being alone, guys. And I can, if you're scared of being alone, don't, okay? Because it's good to know who you are inside. It's good to take yourself out once in a while. Just take yourself out to a library. Sit in a park and read a book by yourself. Put yourself out there sometimes, okay? It's really good for yourself, especially if you're someone who's more clingy or someone who needs more, that feels a little strange being by themselves. It's really important to do that. So, so back to that. So it's good to know who you are. Now, here's what I found with people. A lot of times, people that are more clingy tend to go for more independent people as a partner. Tricky, but I can see why. Because they're attracted to the independence and the strength of that person. But if you're really clingy, it's going to be very hard for you to hold on to somebody who's very independent, because they're going to sense your clinginess from miles away, and they're going to run. So there has to be a balance, right? There has to be a balance. It is tricky, but the sooner you know what kind of person you are, and as far as, am I more independent or am I more on the codependence, I'm more clingy side? And that's okay if you are, both ways, doesn't matter, but it's good to know that, and that way you can look for that in a partner. I want to, unless you guys have a question, I want to end on just one thing today, this little statement that I heard recently. The dance between what you want most and what you fear most is where all your energy is directed in life. It's true. What you want and what you're afraid of. So the truth is, here you guys go again. You got your day today. It's going to be beautiful, sunny, a beautiful spring day. Get out there, all right? Don't let fear hold you back, because fear doesn't make any good to anyone. Fear, back to the negative emotions. Fear, hurt, anger, frustration, disappointment, guilt. These things are not doing you any good, guys. You know, try to replace those feelings with love and happiness and gratitude and joy, okay? And do whatever it is that makes you happy. Again, today I listened to my favorite song. I listen to my favorite song at least 5 times a week on the radio. I have it on my phone. I go in the car, I turn the car on, it's connected to the Bluetooth, whatever, and I hear my song. The song never gets old to me. All right, my daughter asked me recently, she's like, Mom, why do you love this song so much? It's like such an old song. I love it because it brings me back to when I was a kid. I just love the feeling I get when I listen to the song. It doesn't cost anything to feel good, you guys. It doesn't cost anything. Listen to your favorite song today. Just put it on. Put it in your earbuds. What's my favorite song? Now you're putting me on the spot, girl. The Psychedelic First is my, I can't remember the name of the song now that you're asking. What the heck is the song called? Anyway, sorry, I'm on the spot. But when you hear your favorite song today as you're walking, all right, or running or whatever, or just turn it up loud, okay? Listen to it. It'll bring out the best in you. Seriously, it will. Do yourself a favor, do that. I'll text you the name of the song later, girl. I'm sorry I can't think of it right now. But again, things that make you happy are usually free. Go outside and pick some flowers. Go for a walk, all right? No, not Love My Way. That's not it. I'm going to have to get back to you, girl. I can't think of the name of it right now. But I'll get back to you. But I love the Psychedelic First. I'll see you guys next week. Yeah, or maybe sooner, but let me know if you need any help with anything, all right? I'm thinking of you. I'm proud of you, and thank you for always listening and tuning in, okay? And have a wonderful, beautiful day.